This is scenario number 3. This is about Mr. Preston Wood and Mr. Duty. Mr. Preston Wood, he was in charge of the Camp Grady Spruce, of getting the students together and paying the funds there. He was he was involved in that. First of all, I would call Camp Grady Spruce and speak with the events coordinator to verify and have them send over additional receipts. The business office, school business office, also should have a copy of the check and amount of the Camp Grady Spruce. And then I would take the number of students that attended this trip, the event, and calculate the cost of the monies that were not deposited. And you would get a figure that way, of course. And then the second one for the carnival, I would ask the PTA president to submit the total number of tickets that were taken, as well as all the other records for the event. So I would see the total number of tickets, I would see what Mr. Duty has turned in, and there's a discrepancy between both of those of a total of about $14,500. That's the total discrepancy. I would call the HR department and SBEC. I would speak to someone there. But I would call Mr. Duty into the office and let him know of both discrepancies. I would present him with the facts, and ask him to give his accounting and to justify his accounting. I would ask him to justify what he's turned in. I'd show him the numbers and say, this is what the numbers for the Camp Grady Spruce is. This is what the tickets that we've collected from the PTA president. We've collected these things, and there's a discrepancy. Can you explain this discrepancy, Mr. Duty? And this all falls under several things. It falls under 1.2.17.1. And this is a recognized event, of course, a recognized school event. There's no doubt that took place. And there's also, people would say, well, this is operating, one's not operating revenue. But I would think section 1.2.13.1 speaks about the reporting of revenues and how the exchange transaction should take place. But Mr. Duty violated, if it proves to be, he violated standard 1.2. The educator shall not intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly misappropriate, divert, or use monies, personal property, or equipment committed to his own self. And then it says in section standard 1.6, the educator shall not falsify records or direct or coerce others to do so. And these are the things it seems like Mr. Duty has done. And I would give him an opportunity to defend himself or to justify the accounts. So the conduct that can lead to disciplinary action of SBEC is it's definitely, this would be considered a code of ethic violation. It's related to responsibilities of his professions. It says the following crimes are directly related to the duties and responsibilities of an educator's profession, and one that's stated there are crimes involving school property or funds. It's a crime. Mr. Duty, if this proves to be so, he's committed a crime. So no SBEC can investigate and discipline anyone who holds the certificate issued under Chapter 21, Chapter B of Texas Education Code. It's going to need to be investigated further. I would definitely speak to my superiors upon this. I would give Mr. Duty an opportunity to explain himself. I would definitely do that, but I would also talk to my superiors. But as I look at Carey and also Patterson, and Crucial Conversations, Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High, on page 140 of McGraw-Hill Education here, on page 140 it talks about facts. Facts are the least controversial. Facts provide a safe beginning. Facts aren't controversial. That's why we call them facts. For example, consider the statement, yesterday you arrived at work 20 minutes late. No dispute there. Conclusions, on the other hand, are highly controversial. For example, you can't be trusted. That's hardly a fact. Actually, it's more like an insult. And it can certainly be disputed eventually. But Patterson and Carey, they talked about this. Facts are most persuasive. You've got to point to the facts first. And then after you start with the facts, then you start with the observations. And so facts are first, you give the facts, and then observations, and you can tell your story with that. And I would talk to Mr. Duty. I'd give him a chance to explain himself, but I would definitely contact my superiors. I would verify the other sources, the PTA president, the accounting from Camp Grady, the planner, events planner, and I would speak to those and get information collected first.